but we anticipate an annual GDP growth of over 8%. If that is the case, we certainly would be needing much better, much more power to drive our economy. We have 4 major projects, power generation projects, that are being implemented at present. The Upper Kotmale hydropower project, Putlam coal power project, also known as Norachole project, Broadlands hydropower project, and the Trincomalee coal power project, which is to be known as the Sampur power project. In the context of the targeted growth in excess of 8%, as I told you, the demand for electricity is expected to increase considerably. The total installed generation capacity has increased from 2,684 megawatts in 2009 to 2,806 megawatts in 2010. The last but not the least important of all the hubs that we have been talking about is to encourage the private sector development, and therefore to build a commercial hub. As envisaged in the Mahindra Chintana, the capital market will also be the catalyst for accelerated economic growth, particularly to drive private investment. The development of capital market is important to achieve the private sector investment target of 30% of the GDP. We expect the private sector to contribute to that extent. We have had great successes in the Colombo Stock Exchange, which has become one of the best performing stock exchanges in Asia with a market capitalization of rupees 2.2 trillion, which is 40% of the GDP. Now, this is evidence for the success of government capital market development strategy. We will also have conducive measures to develop corporate debt securities market so that the needs of the corporate sector would be satisfied. The Colombo Stock Exchange has been the best performing capital market for 2 consecutive years. Its price earning ratio, just to give you one indicator, has achieved 25.2 times overall compared to its earlier PER of 16.5 times in 2009, beating the world's emerging market PER and frontier market PERs. Revived investor confidence is therefore once again evident, and it has played a crucial role for the CSE to perform and also achieve the feat which has positioned the country on top of the most leading stock markets in the world. And gentlemen, these are the 5 hubs envisaged in the Mahindra Chintana for the future, and that is the planning document of the government as well. Now, Governor Cabral placed before you some very interesting facts in regard to the North and the East. Since the end of the conflict, the Northern Province has been experiencing a fast recovery of economic activities, as you saw. The Northern Province Development Program, also known as Vadakkil Vasantam, or in Sinhala, Uturu Vasantaya, with an investment of 295 billion rupees, implemented immediately after the conclusion of the war to expedite resettlement. That's a success story. Support livelihood and development of infrastructure in the province, and that has been continuing successfully. According to Central Bank, the Northern Province contributed very much to our overall GDP. It grew at a rate of 4.2% when the country was growing at around 7 to 8%. In the Eastern Province, it also recorded very high growth of 14.4%. The core of Mahindra Chintana, and in developing these 5 hubs, we also want to ensure that we empower rural communities, and very rightly so. The President, being a very seasoned campaigner and a very experienced politician, knew that his success was in the hearts of the rural communities. And that is why he ensured that the development effort is concentrated towards the entirety of our rural communities. In decades gone by, the village was a self-sufficient, strong rural economy. The onset of the war against terrorism led to a gradual decline in many rural areas, and therefore in rural economic and social structures curtailed its potential to contribute to the national economy. There are many areas which were bordering the north and the east, which almost came to a total standstill. Mahinda Chintana attempts to reverse this trend by improving all the villages of the country as micro-centers of growth. Programs such as Gamanaguma, the word Gamanaguma is the equivalent is the reawakening of the village. This has seen development projects worth 14 billion rupees being implemented in every Grama Niladhari division of the country. The country is divided into different administrative structures. The smallest administrative structure is known as a Grama Niladhari division, and we have 14,000 such divisions in the country. It also envisages, through the empowerment of rural communities, as I told you, ensuring electricity to all, taking IT to remote villages through Nanasala. The word Nanasala is, again, that's a wisdom outlet. It's also the rural telecenter. Sri Lanka was commended in the entire Asia-Pacific region for having this wonderful network of rural ICTs. The particular focus is ensuring that the rural students and the rural communities have access to internet, have access to IT, have access to other IT solutions, are able to market their produce. There are many success stories in the Nanasala program. At the moment, we have 600 of those. The target is to have 1,000 by 2012, 2013. We have also developed a wonderful network of roads in the rural areas, particularly in the agricultural areas. We want to ensure, and this is again a core fundamental principle of Mahinda Chintana, to ensure that there is sufficient income generation opportunities for vulnerable people, including victims of the conflict, and that's why you saw special initiatives in the north and the east, through community livelihood projects, and to ensure that they have positive impacts in their lives. We also want to ensure that we have cohesive families, because again, our focus is to ensure that we have a family which can sustain itself, which can ensure their children go to good schools, have access to good education, have access to good health, and their standard of living is enhanced. The holistic approach adopted by the Mahinda Chintana is to have an empowered community so that their lives would be guided with values, adherence to sound moral values, and maintenance of good physical and mental health. Individuals with sound minds and bodies, we believe, create progressive societies and progressive nations.